I think very important for people to take away as well is the distinction between methodological and philosophical naturalism, because that is, I think, central to the whole confusion between science undermining God, Darwinian evolution undermining God. And this is why I think it's very important to bring in philosophy of science within science. This will narrow the gap, as you know, between the popular understanding and the academic understanding, and also that it'll help people to appreciate that there's different ways of looking at the world. It's not just, let me just put on these lenses of science, right? There's other ways of actually acquiring a truth. I remember a few years ago I had a conversation with someone, and I said, do you believe in God? And he said, I believe in science. And he said it in a very religious way. But can science pay your bills? Can science tell you what's right and wrong? Can science tell you if Plato existed? That's testimony. So there's many different routes of knowledge, and I think this is why science has done so many great things in our contemporary society that we just put all our eggs in that one basket. So how do you see that sort of playing out in the next couple of years in the way people think?
Well, I think the key point is the one that you made when you spoke about uncertainty and science and proof. We can never prove anything in science because we work with statistics, we work with probability. So and that's why scientists don't come over very well on the radio when they're against a politician. And you say, well, if I eat this food, will it give me cancer? And somebody might say, yes, it does, because it happened to my child. And the scientist will say, well, and the interviewer will say, well, does it cause cancer? Well, it might do, and it might be 1 in 100 chance. So you can't say it doesn't. And I think that understanding of science as a way of dealing with uncertainty and trying to, in a way, science is a way of understanding how uncertain we are in something that we observe, and that's how we organise the world. I think the interesting, and we haven't really touched on some of these ideas, but I mean, you mentioned a bit about morality, for example. So as an evolutionist, I would want to be able to what we call reverse engineer any characteristic. Okay, so you would say, and I don't like using the word why in an evolutionary context. I try and persuade people that evolutionists should be saying, how does something improve the fitness of an organism? What is the selective advantage of that? Not why does a bird have wings, right? But we use it as shorthand. Why is a philosophical question. Yeah. But why does a bird have wings? He says, having explained himself. A bird has wings because if it has wings, it can fly away and not be eaten, and the genes for having wings will be maintained in the population. That's a reverse engineering idea that sets up a hypothesis. But we can also set up, we can reverse engineer anything. It doesn't mean that thing has a function. So you could say, what's the point of a chin? Right, well, see that is, but what is the function of a chin? Well, it might have no function. You could think of a function. You could probably ask you all, and you could come up with different ideas. It sets up but a chin may be just the result of development and the way our teeth are and how our jaw has to be. So not everything, as you said, has to have an evolutionary explanation.
I mean, we also have